Hi lovelies and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belindus Janad and here is Bellistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you may be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos and read the commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. So guys, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok and I thought to share with you guys where this black brother decided to ask this question, channeling out to black men and black, men all over the world. And I was able to put up some of those teachings because a lot of black men decided to come out to answer this question. Likewise, some, black women. I'm just gonna roll it. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
So this is a question I have asked on my live multiple times, and I thought it's time I bring it to video to reach a wider audience, because this is a question I have for a lot of black men and African men, and I think it's time we start to answer these questions. And before all you red pill bros come at me, don't. I'm just not the type of person to dwell on the perceived flaws of our women without focusing on ours. I pay attention to both sides. And if you know me, I'm not a panderer. I'm definitely not someone to pander to or try to defend people who are abort black boys, calling me a bullet. No, if you know me, know who I am, the kind of family I come from, the kind of culture I come from, tremendous self-respect. I'm not one to defend people who have known for hating me. This is not about black women. This is about black men. But I need you to answer this question. Are you ready? Now here goes. I want you to picture a scenario, right? Picture a scenario where a bunch of women are all hanging out. There's a white woman, regular white woman. There's a Jewish woman. There's an Arab woman. There's a Chinese woman. There's an Indian woman. There's a Mexican woman, a Filipina, a black American, and an African woman. So that makes 9 women hanging around, chilling, just drinking, enjoying the day. And then out of nowhere, conversation starts getting a little spicy. The spice levels starts going up, and then out of nowhere, the white woman just gets up and is like, you know what? You're not going to do this with me. I'm white. Our men control governments. You're not going to play with me. Everyone's like, what? The Chinese woman gets up and is like, first of all, I'm a Chinese woman. Our men run construction. Our men run manufacturing. If you want to build anything in this world, you need a Chinese man. So watch what you say to me. Everyone's like, okay. And then the Indian girl gets up and is like, first of all, I'm Indian. Our men run tech. If you want tech, and if you want anything to work on your phone, you want your laptop, anything to run, you need Indian men. Don't mess with me. Everyone's like, okay. The Mexican woman gets up. She's like, Los Tigres del Norte. Don't fuck with me. If you need a roof over your head, our men run construction. Don't play with me. Mexican men run construction. You play with me, I'm a holla at Jose, and it's over for you. Everyone's like, okay. The Jewish woman's like, I know you all don't keep your money under your bed, so as long as you got in the bank, watch what you say. Everyone's like, ooh, okay. The Arab woman's like, well, I'm sure you all need gas. Arab men, we control oil. That's us. Don't play with us. Everyone's like, okay, Arab girl. The Filipina is like, okay, I see what you're doing. Well, me and my girls, we have totally taken over the nursing industry. And have you noticed something? Our men are slowly taking over. In 10 years, none of you bitches can get a vaccine without a Filipino man, and we will all be housewives. So, checkmate. Everyone's like, oh, okay. So, black men, in this scenario, what have we given black women and African women to brag about or clap back about? Like, what have we given our women to brag about? What aspect of this world, what industry, what important part of infrastructure in this world do black men control? African men, the entire continent of Africa that belongs to us, what part of it do we control? That's my question. What do we control? And also, before you guys come at me, I know you red pill niggas again. Y'all gonna come at me on some, oh, we out earn Latino man, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Do you remember Ron DeSantis a couple years ago, was it 2 years ago? Talking all of that shit about Latino men? Did you see what happened? I could just picture the scenario. Hector gets his phone, picks up the phone, calls the Jose, is like, yo, Jose, hey fool, you wanna go somewhere? You wanna go on a vacation or something? It's like, for vacation, you crazy fool? I got work to. I see yeah, let's go on that vacation. The Mexican community, the Latino community say, you know what, you wanna play with us? We're not going to work. It took 3 days. Ron DeSantis came back out and literally apologized. And it's not spoken about. That is what destroyed his entire political, like, that is what destroyed his drive, his up, whatever the hell you want to call it, as a politician. Because he came out hardcore racist and was put in a position where he was forced to apologize to those people. That was it. Ron DeSantis is over. Trump could not pick him. It was over for him. Every group of men in this country, or wherever you want to call it, they have an aspect, an important aspect of society that they control. Black men, what do we control? I'm not talking about our earnings. Yes, when you go look at earnings, black men, we do good. Regardless of what people say about us, the data shows we're doing amazing. But as a collective, what do we control? Music? Nope. Jewish men control that. Unlucky enough for a lot of you, we don't live in a world where you could just go walk up to a woman and take what you want. So the sexual prowess that we're known for, we're only known for it because the people who control it, women, give us access to it. What do we control, black men? I think this is a valid question, and my suggestion, I'm no voice, I'm nothing. My suggestion would be, let's take over the garbage industry. Let's control America's trash. In New York, I don't know about any other way. In New York City, do you know what it costs? At least in my neighborhood, do you know what it will cost to start a recycling business? $25,000, and that's on the higher end. $25,000 to start a recycling business. There's so many brothers in trash, excuse my choice of words, but there's so many brothers in trash that make good money. Why can't we come together collectively? Why can't we imagine a world where, imagine in America where black men control trash. We control the trash industry in America. Someone comes out and talks shit about black men, and we're like, oh, that's how it's gonna be? Okay. And for 1 week, America's trash is not picked up. What do you think will happen then? I think every single politician will come out, get on his fucking knees and beg us. Because that, do you understand how quickly a politician will get voted out if their neighborhood starts to stink? But yeah, it's a very important question that we need to ask ourselves as black men. What do we control? And those of you who do things for women, what have we given our women to brag about? What have we given our women to clap back? Y'all can say all this, oh, we out-earn Mexican men, we out-earn them. Okay, we out-earn them, our women out-earn them. The women can clap back and say, if you want a roof over your head, I need you to shut the fuck up. What have we given our women to clap back with? That's a very important question we need to ask ourselves, black men. Thank you.
What up though, y'all? So black men for sure, go back and watch that video because I actually want to hear y'all answers in regard to this, because he actually does present some solutions at the end, which I'm all here for. I really want to see us come together. I want us to take over some shit. I got some solutions where we can tear down some shit for sure and rebuild, but I'm always here for like straight up solutions. But anyway, his question was for black men, and the question was based off a scenario where the women of different cultures and ethnicities came to a table and sat down and they were in a conversation. Shit got kind of heated. The white woman stood up and all Rip was like, fuck what you talking about. My men own governments. Our men, our white men run the governments. Asian women was like, our men run manufacturing. The Indian woman was like, our men run technology. His question was, what have black men given our women to brag about? black men built this fucking country. If I'm off of blood, sweat, and tears, off of being enslaved from the white men that was raping our black African women, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, and again, I'm here to be educated if it's an opportunity for me to be educated. I don't want it to be confrontational, it's just what I'm seeing and how I'm looking at it from my perspective. But when we ask that question, what have we given our black women? I'm looking at it like, damn, okay. From what I know from being on this earth for almost 30 years, I know Fred Hampton had a whole fucking system for black people set up that was torn down, that was infiltrated, and that was destroyed. I know mass incarceration happened in 99 or during the Clinton era. Since then, shit, there hasn't been any real progress for black men in this country. So I'm here. Like, I understand what you're saying. We don't have a hold on shit. Like I said, I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is when you ask that question, I don't think it's necessarily in the best taste, because I'm looking at it like this country wouldn't be what this country is if men that look like me before me wasn't out here doing this shit for fucking blood, sweat, and tears, for scraps, for fucking chitlins and all the bullshit that they had to scraps that they had to eat. So that's what I personally feel like she should be able to brag about. It's fucked up. It's very fucked up. But that's definitely some enlightenment for all of those cultures of women. Now, to go back to the solution side of it though, because you actually brought up one that I thought was kind of dope, because I actually have a business plan that's archived to do some trash pickup for our apartment complexes. I definitely am here for us trying to progress and take over an industry. And I'm here for all the solutions. Like the trash one, I think it would be a dope one for us to get into. Now, how do we get into it? You were breaking some things down on how much it costs to like start one in your area and whatnot. Cool. Now we got to figure out how to unify. We got to figure out how to come together, because our infrastructures in the black community have been purposely broken apart. Purposely. Whether it's infrastructure, whether it's from the fucking whatever, welfare system, whatever, the mass incarceration, our infrastructures are fucked up. So, and I'm not really trying to give us no excuses. I'm not trying to give black men any excuses. I'm just looking at what has been presented for us so far. Now, if you're older than me, if you're older than 30 years old, then seen some other shit where we have progressed and we continue to progress, but we keep on doing some other shit, enlighten me so we can fucking go forward. You the OG. Y'all the OGs. Y'all know what we can do. Y'all got the systems in place, because we literally just fucking running off of whatever the fuck we giving right now. Honestly, not shit. So, based off of this question, what have we given our black women or our African women? They got a fucking country. They got a country for free that we didn't ask to build. So, not only did they get a country for free, because they was there with us. I'm not going to say that they got a country for free. Let me rephrase that. They didn't get a country for free. They were right there with us, enslaved. While the white women were like trying to figure out why their husband didn't come back from the shack yet, why they couldn't cook as good as our women, why all of these other things. So I kind of personally just look at it like, we can talk about what we haven't done, but we can't talk about what we haven't done without talking about what has happened to us. Oscarville, fucking, how many black towns have they literally destroyed just because? Black Wall Street, like all of this shit. And again, I want to progress and I'm here for the solution so that we can move forward in the future. But when we're talking about things like this, we cannot talk about them without excluding what has been taken from us, what has happened to us. But I'm here for the solutions, bro. Anybody, if y'all got any solutions where us as black men can come together and we can take over some shit, I'm here for it. And my last thing, because I do have a personal feeling in regards to building, I feel like we can divest in some shit first and get whatever the fuck we really want. And I hope y'all hear me on this. But let's talk about the Sonya Massey situation right now. The entire world saw a cop shoot a black woman on camera, regardless of if it was like warranted, whether it was right or wrong. That's what the world saw. Right now, when I look at any clip of the Olympics and I see actual teams, majority of those teams are either 80% to 100% black, or it's individual sports where they have their own culture, where they have their own representative, which is cool. But what I'm thinking about from an American perspective, all of our teams, majority of our teams have 90% people that look like me on them bitches. And we're going to go represent America that don't give a fuck about black people. They have consistently showed the world that they don't give a fuck. They willing to kill us on camera. They don't care. They don't care. And we continue to run, skip, and jump and play fucking sports for these white billionaires. We continue to play fucking sports and make these white billionaires even richer while we getting fucking crumbs. The first thing we need to do as a black community, and I've been saying this shit for the longest, stop playing sports. The fucking country would crumble if the 75% of black NBA players did not play basketball. If the 75 to 80% of black football players didn't play football another down, the fucking country would crumble. Because those white men, like, they literally are hoping for their revenue from that NFL, the NBA money. That's a lot of fucking money that they make. And we can't control how they make that shit. All we gotta do is stop playing.
Because this is from a genderless perspective and I don't want to be here very long. I love this content creator. I love what he's doing. This question that needs to be answered is culture. And not that black men are the culture, but they're definitely a part of a greater culture. The culture being, whether it's African American or being African or whatever essence of culture is what we bring, but it's not owned. So to answer your question, nothing is owned by a conglomerate of black men. Not, I could point to gang culture and say that gang culture is something that perhaps is something that is owned by black men, but it's not something that I think adds to the perspective of the question. Or perhaps it does in the way that we own the violence that they gave to us, or we lease it out in the way, if you we understand what's going on in Sudan right now, we understand what's going on in the Congo right now, that violence has been leased out. I don't believe that Africa or Africans or black people or African Americans are inherently violent. That's a lie that's been told. I don't even believe that humanity is inherently violent. It's a lie that's been told, but I would say that we own a sort of cultural violence that has been bestowed upon us. But I'm not a black man to answer this question, or a black woman. I'm just black and queer. So I hope this helps.
So me personally, I think this is a very unfair and a very loaded question, but I'm explaining why. It's a great question for the community as a whole, but I'm explaining why to the best of my ability. And I know you said we wasn't bringing women into this, but I'm gonna start with the family first, and then we're gonna move from that point. So the one thing that all those women have that I know personally black men in America don't have is a stable, structured family home. And why this is very important is because if you can't run a family structure in your house, then you can't run a company, is what they say. I don't necessarily believe that, but that's what a lot of things is being said. That's why also you never seen a president that wasn't married. Besides the orange guy, which that don't even count. But with the proper family structure, we can bring back community. And again, that's man, woman, and child in a household, or just a functioning household. I don't want nobody to get offended, but just a functioning household. We haven't operated in a fully functioning household in decades, which demolishes the family structure, your idea of importance, self-care, self-worth, etc., etc., etc. Not only have we been dealing with that, we've been dealing with the highest incarceration rates, right? So while we're also battling not having full family homes, which a lot in part, I can say men need to take the blame for that. So I would say we got to take the blame for that. But incarceration rates, the black community suffers the highest incarceration rates out of all people, and with the longest terms. So that not only demolishes the household and family structure, but that also demolishes that man from, well, not completely, because I've seen people change their life around. So that's a hard thing to come back from, being locked up and being convicted, unless you're surrounded by yourself by the right people, which a lot of us don't. I'm gonna keep going. Thirdly, at this point in time, we're only 149 years removed from slavery. So that means we're only, at most, in most cases, 3 generations removed from slavery. That's not enough. That's not a lot of time to build. And coming from where I'm from, I'm in the South. I'm in Southeast Georgia. Jim Crow South was still a reckoning and things are happening. So what I'm getting at is we still having that hand on top of us of what we can technically do. Even if we look at Ice Cube and what he's doing with the Big Three, right? Look at how much pushback Ice Cube is getting from the Big Three. And again, he has a support system in his home from the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? His wife and kids, and they've been there for a minute. So what I'm saying is this: we still have to think about us being kept away from generational wealth through redlining and not being able to buy homes. And when we do buy homes, we buy them at a higher rate, and when we do sell homes, we sell them at a lower rate. So less profit on the back end of things. And if you want the truth to that, you can look up a lot of things, just real estate wise. Then this also goes back to the dysfunction of the black family, right? Those of us that had ancestors that were wealthy enough or seen enough money to be middle class in certain eras, that money is demolished and completely going away within 2 generations. 2. And that's just from my personal experience, and also just looking at other people's experience. Now, when we start talking about the other, and y'all please go watch the entire video what he just said, the guy just stitched, because this is where we're going to start getting into other families and other cultures, right? When we look at other families and other cultures, and what he was saying in his description, he was basically, one of the scenarios that he used was what happened in Florida with the construction workers in the Latino community, which was a great show of community and togetherness, right? We have not shown togetherness in our community since, I would say, since Martin Luther King. That's just my personal belief, right? We don't get together and do anything. We don't have family reunions like that, or the ones that do have family reunions are very dysfunctional, right? We don't have a community of people that get together and do positive things all the time, or when we do positive things, it's not highlighted. And we still have generational trauma, post-traumatic slave disorder that we're dealing with. So when we comparing ourselves to every other group of people, we're doing the black community a great disservice, because every other group of people, whether they were enslaved and everything else, right, they still got reparations. We're the only community of people on the planet that hasn't got reparations for, let's just say, slavery, right, and other things, but we haven't got reparations. We haven't had a time that people left us alone and we was actually able to rebuild. Every time we've rebuilt, it's been completely demolished and destroyed. We can talk about the Black Panther Party. We can talk about Malcolm X. We can talk about Martin Luther King. We can talk about the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We can talk about Noble Jewel Ali, and the list goes on and on. There's never been a time, Lake Lanier, I can't remember that town name. We can talk about the fire bombings that happened in Jersey with that community. We can talk about Rosewood in Florida, how a whole complete black town was destroyed in Florida. We can talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and how that whole entire town was destroyed. There was black people doing our own things, on banks, communities, etc., etc. And there's more than Tulsa, Oklahoma. So always people were really looking to it. You have another community like that up in Tennessee that did the exact same thing as Black Wall Street did out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but it was also completely destroyed by Caucasian rage, right? So when we're comparing what we have to deal with and what we had to overcome to even get to this point, we're doing ourselves a disservice. Yes, we need to stand up as black men and do crazy things, and I know we have the capability of doing that, and we should do that. I'm not saying we don't, but the hurdles that we've had to jump in just the society and in this lifetime that I've been alive, and the things that I've known through history wise, it is a very unfair assessment to say we're not doing enough. We can do way more. We can do way more. But when you think about where we come from and only being 3 generations removed from slavery, and what we had to overcome just mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and how certain organizations hold us down within our own community, and I'll speak on that as well. The black church is one of our biggest detriments at this point in time, because they're not doing anything to help push us forward. So with all that being said, what I'm saying is that even though what you're speaking on is very true, and I still love the question, and I think it's something that we have to really dig down in within ourselves. I agree with you on that. But when, from the grand scheme of things and the scope of things, putting the black community under a microscope like that and comparing us to every other community is very unfair. Even if you was to take and say that we're a country, just say the black community in itself is its own country. We're only 149 years removed from slavery. That's 3 generations. With no wealth building in between. In some places, some people have been, some people are able to build wealth, right? But look at how they're able to build wealth and who they're submitting to. We black people have never been in this country, left the fuck alone, and let us build our own shit without people coming in, destroying it, tearing it down, or trying to manipulate it. It's never been a time. With other communities, they have. But with other communities, even with the Latino community, what they do have is community. They do get together. They do stick together. They do listen to each other. We've never been that way in a long time. Or haven't been that way in a long time. I ain't gonna say never, but we haven't been that way in a long time. And I'd like you to build back on this. If you see this video, man, peace, love, and light. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
So what this guy's saying sounds good, but he doesn't understand the Psalms 83 confederation, because black men are the real Jews from the same tribe as Jesus Christ. And every time we try to do something, we get stopped.
Go back and listen to that entire video. He really presents a good thought experiment about a group of women of several different races basically bragging about their men, right? And what they have and what they control. And my response to that thought experiment would be this: self-control. If the black woman in that thought experiment responded with, "My man has self-control, and he loves me deliberately with intentionality and care, and the black men in my community celebrate my full autonomy as a woman. They respect me as the giver of life, and they protect me as such. And when I say no about something concerning me, like my body, for example, they abide by that boundary." If she only said that and nothing else, the majority of women in that circle would not only be envious, they would go home weeping.
I think that this question is some type of way, and to answer this question, you have to like think thoroughly, and it's a logical kind of way to, actually answer the said question. So this young man decided to, ask this question, which is absolutely a very nice one to ask, because we as collective, black people, we actually want to, know what we can actually give out there. So he went ahead to ask a question, directed it or channel it to black men, asking them, for instance, there are a group of so many, women, which we have both pan-colored women, Hispanic, and every other races, and they were all bragging about their own men and what their men have to bring in the table, or what their men has actually, achieved being a man in a set particular race. And he went ahead to ask, what is it that black men think that black women will actually brag about, black men? And this is a question that I was like, okay, I think there are so many things that black women really have to, brag about in times of black men. Like, let's talk, for instance, how protective, black men are. Like, I think the third guy that actually answered the question, that if he was to be in that shoe and as a black woman, he might just probably go ahead to answer like being, so like black men are family oriented and they are overprotected, that they should actually bring us something that make these women to feel jealous to actually ask such a question. Because if such questions should be prompts, should be asked, that means there are a lot of things, a lot of, as a black community, so many people have seen that, people assume that black community have a lot of shortcomings in terms of, their black men and all of that. And I feel that it is actually the society that made it so. Society had made it very difficult for black men, most especially, to ascertain a certain goal in life. Let's take, for instance, about the historical fact about, what black men, especially black men in America, have to go through on a daily basis. We see a high rate of, arrests and all of that, even if, they have not committed anything, even if, they have not done something that might warrant them, to be arrested or something. They just find a way to make black men, to make black men's life very miserable. And after which society must have done that. Now they're not trying to make it seem as if black men are not bringing anything on the table. or that they are not someone to actually look up to, but society has actually made it. But when, black people or black men had their own society or their own community, everything was flourishing up until when this said society was actually, destroyed by people that don't want anything good to come out from black community. So I think when given a chance, when these men are given a chance, just the way at which other race are given a chance, they are going to do more better. Even with all of the things that is going on in the society and the society not even supporting them, they are still proving that, okay, they can still do something. They are still better. Like guys, this video I actually, stitched on my other channel where this Hispanic man was talking about how the rate at which black men are not in the life of their family is so alarming. And this actually brought me to, like, if the society keep on, judging these people, keep on making, black men not to be in the life of their family, they'll still, end up still blaming this said black people, black family for the sins of the society. Like, seriously, when I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it up here for us to actually delegate and and see, to actually hear one or two of our commentaries to this question. Why not just leave me your thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please subscribe to this channel, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you love this when I upload the next one.